Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is. I want to say hello. This is Coke from the Lower East Side. My real name is Curtis. I want to tell you a story about the Lower East Side and a group called the Javelins, the Royal Javelins, Young Javelins. I was born in the Lower East Side. I know that I just want to talk about history. I was a javelin. I was the Royal Javelin. I also was in the 8th Division, the Bronx. Okay. I had some presidents, different presidents. At one time I had Blackie, another time I had Johnny, another time I had Dirty Harry. I had Harry. I want to make my own interview. I don't want nobody to get mad. I'm not going to mention any names. I'll only mention names that I know I'm allowed to. I wanted to say, back in the days, I was born in the Lower East Side. We used to hang out by the heater in Pitt Street and Junior High School 22. We had a place called the heater because there was a big heater used to come out and we used to hang out there. It was a junior high school, but we had a pool across the street. We had a lot of areas. I don't want to call it turf because I don't believe in that. We never really had a problem with turf. People say, oh, we had a rumble because of our turf. No, we didn't waste our time because of our turf. If you see, I have LES on the back. I got LES in my jacket. This is an old outlaw jacket. It's got the colors in the back. I'll show you some stuff. I'm going to show you something. This is my old colors, was handmade. Back then we made them handmade. I was the Bronx and Lower East Side. Yes, I'm the one. I had, we started off young. We had a team called the Pythons, was a basketball team. And that basketball team, the Pythons, we stuck together since we was young. And I'm going to say a couple of names. We had Hondo 1, Clyde 555, Goggle. Eddie was Goggle. His name was Eddie Ortiz. He had a little brother called Tony Ortiz. All three of them. Tony Ortiz was like a young baby javelin. Eddie was a Royal Javelin. We had a division of young javelins, but we looked pretty big. I mean, like somebody that's too old to be a young javelin, but they was like 16, 17, wearing young javelin colors. They would say, oh, these guys look like men. We went to the Bronx for a meeting. We ended up in the Bronx. We ended up in 183rd somewhere, and then we ended up in park. I'm trying to remember the park. I want to come back to it, but the park's name, I think it was Katona, I think. It wasn't Katona Park. I'll come back to the park later. Well, yeah, we had a division. We ended up seeing how the Bronx was dealing and working. We would have meetings, and we had another group was Screaming Phantoms. I was like, who are these guys? They were like, oh, they are similar to us. They just had different patches. Screaming Phantoms. They had them in Brooklyn, Williamsburg area, all that area there, and we trusted each other. We had Royal Javelins. The Javelins was first, and we had Reapers and Turbans, and as you see, I aged a lot. I wasn't like this. So I'm an old man. I just want to say my story. We was okay with a lot of groups. The Ghetto Brothers had a division. We all had the Ghetto Brothers, the Javelins, and I think it was the Puerto Rican Brothers all together. And they even had Centurion Dragons. We never had problems with them. In our area, we had Dynamite Brothers, Cato's, eventually the old Dynamite Brothers with Choco, Sly, Slick, my little homeboy, Cool Breeze. We was all friends, but, for some reason, we had a 2-year war. Started with Choco, and we lost a lot of people. A lot of people died at that time back then. But we fought with our hands. But when it got rough, you know how it went. Zip guns, and knife. A lot of wow. It was wow. We couldn't retreat. I took a story about Black Danny, Spider, and Ray. They was brothers. There was 2 other brothers, a bunch of brothers, Ralphie and Joey. They was from Pitt Street. Louis Velez, most of them are gone. Louis Velez, Frankie, White Tommy, White Jerry. Yes, we had some white dudes. We had Scotty Blue. There was in our young division. Scotty Blue was a young javelin. Billy Blue was a young javelin. Shaft was a young javelin. Buck was our president. They call him Buck One. His name is Georgie. I don't want to say his last name, but I mean, you could say we had close to 60 guys in that little division. I mean, that was a little division. Young javelins. We went a long way. So we stuck together for a long time. I mean, we started off as kids. We end up in the Bronx. We started realizing how the real outlaws, and we was getting orders from the Bronx. We started weeding off people that would, we would rather be smaller. We didn't have all the big numbers. I mean, in the Bronx, we did research. We had close to 30 divisions in the Bronx. I'm not trying to brag. I say we had about 8 divisions on the Lower East Side. And Queens, I really don't know, probably about 3 or 4 divisions. I wish we had all the technology we had today. We would all been, could it all been in together at one time. But, like the Black Spades and all the other groups, they was large. We was there since the 60s. I was a member of the Javelins in 1973. I seen 1969, I used to go to Coney Island, and I used to see homicides. I used to tell my dad, well, I like that. I like that. I mean, I like those jackets. I like that. My father said, you crazy. I don't want to see you like that. I went to Brooklyn. My cousins lived in Williamsburg. But I lived in South 9th Street. They lived in Havermeyer in the projects. We lived in South 9th Street all the way by the river. There was a company, the Schaefer Beer Company was there at the time, and There was a strip, and my cousin was one of the big heads of the Hell Burners, and his younger brothers, they were screaming phantoms. I mean, I didn't know that till about 5 years ago. I became a javelin, and I stood a javelin forever. I never changed. I just want to say the history of it. We always had beef with the Dynamite Brothers. I don't know why we used to go after each other all the time. It was just over bullshit. But we just didn't like each other. And the Catos, same thing. The Catos, we really didn't have a problem with. They was just gonna stick with the Dynamite Brothers. They were thick and thin with them. I just want to say hello to all the other outlaws and all the other old school dudes. I've seen a couple of interviews from Queens, and I can't mention no names. We do have outlaws in the Bronx. I got a lot of brothers in the Bronx. My little brother, he does his homework, and he schools a lot of people. He wasn't even there, but I'm saying he schools a lot of people, and he knows what he's talking about. I got a book here about Lower East Side gangs, the street gangs of the Lower East Side. It mentions us. This is Cochise. He was the president of the Sinners. I think it was the Soulful Sinners or the whatever Sinners. Let me see. There's also a guy named Clayton Patterson. He does history. I also do art. Here's a story about the Dynamite Brothers, the Dragons. Cochise was, when he did this book, he was in jail. Back then, I had an uncle. He was, his name is Red. He talked a lot of stuff about the dragons, the back end of the dragons. Those were the real dragons. As you know, I was in the 8th Division in the Bronx. I still got my Lower East Side tattoos. I got my other tattoos. I got something else to show you. This was from a clubhouse. We used to have a genie patch in the back. Everybody had a different. New York, the Bronx, the Queens, the Lower East Side, the Smith. I want to mention one guy. His name is Nathan. He's doing his thing. He's still into his martial arts. He's got his own thing. I do not want to involve him, but he was a guy that always told us and taught us how to defend ourselves. He has a school now. He's doing big things. I don't want to put negative things, say anything negative about him. This man has changed his life, and he's a big hero for me. To me, he's a hero. Some people say, "Oh, you guys are legends." No. We was foolish. I would say that wearing a patch was very dangerous. Worse than wearing colors like red and blue, like Crips and Bloods. It was crazy. We used to walk around neighborhoods with our colors on, and we didn't care. The thing is, don't take them off when they say don't take them off. This right here is from a clubhouse. I still had it. It's about 40 years old. I got it framed. I got it done all over again. This is the genie right here. The genie is not the same genie. The genie has his head gone. The genie's gone. The genie is dead. Like I said, I just want to say, a lot of people ask me questions. How's Hondo? I think Hondo's okay. I want to say hello to these guys. Glenyon. I want to say a shout out to all the outlaw gangs, Savage Skulls, Savage Nomads, Black Spades. For real, they really came down with us. We didn't look up to nobody. When we was in Valentine, Vice, in the Bronx, we didn't care. In the Lower East Side, we was just turning into outlaws. But when we saw the Bronx come down to the Lower East Side, we knew we had to step up our game, and we did. We did. Nobody came to Pitt Street or Turney Street. Nobody came to that area to fuck with us or Junior High School 22 or none of that shit, They would not fuck with us. I can't say a shout out to people that are not alive. Back then, let me say, and I don't know who's still alive. I know, I want to say a shout out to Charles. Charles is from the Avenue. He's with me out here. We're down south now. Charles is down here with me. I say hello to Glenn. He's contact with me. I appreciate everybody that called and got with me right now. I just want to say that don't get into gangs, man. Don't get into gangs. A lot of guys, you can see, I've been in I still got the scars in my head, cuts in my face, I got wounds all over, my teeth knocked out. Back then, if you want to join, we'll hit you with a Garrison belt. With not one of those little bullshit belts. We used Garrison belts. We was the first one to use radios in the Bronx. I don't want to say we was the biggest and the baddest. Everybody at one time was the biggest and the baddest. But I'm just saying that we're still around. We're still here, So, I want to have a problem. I show my face. I don't care. You know what? I'm still here. I've been around. I never went bouncing from one place to another place. There's a lot of guys that will bounce from one gang to another gang to another gang. Oh, no. I stood and held it down. Was a trooper. Cochise is a guy that he does history of the Lower East Side. And I appreciate it if you're in the Lower East Side of New York City to drop in. It's in Exit Street between Stanton and Houston. You can't miss it. It's across the street from the school. It says, it's the Gang Museum, okay? I need you to go in there, ask for Clayton Patterson or Cochise. You got to knock to the side. And there's a lot of history from the Lower East Side there. Check it out. Check out the names. Royal Javelins are we did a little something. I don't want to say nothing, brag about it. Yes, I'm Puerto Rican. Yeah, I heard stories about the Queens divisions. They had a lot of Dominicans. There ain't no problem with that. I wish we got in contact. I know some of them, but I want to say shout out to La Flaca. I want to say a shout out to and rest in peace to Big Dutch. He was from Queens, and it's all positive now. We're not into that stuff. We're just talking about history. People that wasn't around, we want to let you know how it was. It ain't like now. People used to do they do drive-bys and all that stuff. No. We didn't do no drive-bys and none of that shit. We didn't do none of that stuff. We had to hold it, use our hands first. None about, you want to get jumped in, you can get jumped in. You could also get thrown out of a second-story building, which I've seen happen many times. So you have a choice to make, you know. A lot of guys, they didn't make it. They didn't make it to like 13, 14 years old, they joined. 18, they're in a coffin. I got sick of going to Ortiz's funeral, seeing people there. Another person, DJ Apache. Rest in peace, my brother. He was a dynamite brother, but he was solid, and he was cool with me. I have no problem with that. Even if he was, you know, my boy, my Savage Skull brother, Robert, or is it Robert? Is it Robert Sanchez or whatever? He's from the LES, from Compost. All my boys from Compost, yo, I'm still here. 13th Street, Avenue B, I'm still here, bro. I'm still around. I'll let you know. I'm gonna go to part 2. I just wasn't rehearsed or nothing. I just grabbed the phone, so it might sound like a little, you know, cocky or whatever. You know, I don't fuck with drugs. I don't even smoke weed no more. You know, I used to ride bikes. I used to, none of that. I drive a car now. I am well. I'm healthy. God put me in, created something. I'm a bigger guy, bigger than usual. I am not been a DJ for a long time. It's none of that bullshit about DJs and DJs. I play congas too. Show you what I have. My congas, my vinyl. Alright. Got my keyboards. Hold up. You can see it. You see my keyboards. Okay. I'll cover that. Keep on walking. My musical rug. My heater. Cold this morning. Okay. Going to my other room. My system. I got my speakers covered up behind my bed. I got my amplifiers. I got my 2 columns, the monitors. My mixer, my Serato. This is how I live right now. I'm in the room. And I got another room. I cover it, but I'm okay. See, you can see all colors there. And still, how I live, I gotta show you. Old habits are hard to break. Talk about, I got this little tool, bro. It's got a skull buster. It's got blades in the middle. I can snap out some blades in the middle. Look how cool this is. I want to show you something. Got a holster. Look at this. Look at this. This ain't this sweet. Works perfect. Dude. Skull buster. You got your blades in between. I could take them out. They're like a knife. You see the blade in the middle. Could take out a blade. You got the top. You can hit them in this way. It's good for doing good housework. Good, you know, when you're cooking, chopping chuletas up. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. Or either you could do this with my father's stuff. I still got his little machete. I still have it, bro. This is my father's. It went from my grandfather to my father. You can see it, bro. This is history, brother. This. Look at that. Oh, machete. So, yeah, I got a lot of novelties, brother. See here, I got my Lower East Side walking stick. Yeah, I had a meeting. We would take this. Normally I had orange handkerchief. I don't know why I got blue there, but it was carved by somebody that was special. It's a walking stick. It looks like a cane. It looks like a cane, but it's solid. Solid oak, bro. See it? I want you to see the details of it. So I'm not gonna pull out nothing else because I don't want to get in trouble. You know, I'm on social media. So I want you to go in and try to pick up this book, bro. That's all I just really wanted to promote this book. It has stories about us. Look for Cochise. Tell them Curtis sent you. Remember, it's an exit street between Houston and Suffolk. No, Houston and Stanton. You can't miss it. Tell them, you know Curtis? Do you know Curtis from the Javelins? He would tell you what's up. To all my people, the next video will be about the Bronx. I'll go straight to the Bronx and talk to you about the Bronx. I appreciate all the people that put in. A lot of people want to know, how was it in the 70s, bro? Was it tough? I see there's a lot of clubs, you know. There's a lot of car clubs in New York I've seen. And these guys are walking around with patches, bro. Be careful what you're doing, bro. You know, you do be wearing a patch from a car club and a real outlaw's gonna see that patch and wanna know what's that patch about. You don't just put colors on and say, oh, I'm in a car club. People will, out here, the bikers will chase your ass down. Okay? That's just for those people that are in car clubs. It's okay. You want to carry your trophies. The Lower East Side in New York and the Bronx and Brooklyn, they got their car clubs. And they got people they call their boys. But if you don't know how to handle yourself in the street, you won't live to talk about it. I'm living right now to talk about it right now. I must have been doing something right. Yeah, I did my time. I ain't built for that shit no more. I ain't going in there no more. I ain't going upstate no more. I had enough of that bullshit. My life changed. I still kick some fucking ass if I have. I said I'm not into that. I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want nobody to hurt me. I don't want nobody to fuck with my fucking kids or family because that's fucking taboo. You know, I feel bad. You know, the drugs fucked us up, bro. More than anything, drugs had tore us apart. All my Puerto Rican brothers, Dominican brothers, and that shit ain't no joke. You know, a lot of guys are young. They out there thinking they inventing new shit. They think they know something new. You know, okay, you walking around with some badass shoes and some gold chains and all that shit. I mean, okay, buy yourself a fucking car. Stop living off your fucking grandmother and shit like that. Those dudes that are living off of the fucking people, you know, you gotta pay your own fucking rent sooner or later. When I came out, When I got out in 2006, I knew. I said, "Oh shit, how life is." Every fucking day I started getting mail. You don't hear you all there. You don't gotta pay rent now. Responsibilities is a motherfucker. But you have to. That ain't something that you be like, I'll think about it, or I'll wait till tomorrow, or I'll pay you tomorrow, or I'll see you tomorrow. That's that bullshit, you know. With me, that shit don't work. I'll pay you when I get my check. That's what I got out of the game, you know. And let me tell you something. Don't get mad because people are snitching. You put yourself out there. You put yourself out there. People are gonna, they're gonna snitch. You make a deal with somebody, and the next day they want something for free, and you tell them no. You better believe they're gonna start fucking snitching on you, bro. And you'd be surprised with the brain people. They fucking relapse. They don't think. You relapse way before you use the drugs. It's all mental health. People need fucking help. And fucking nobody's gonna do nothing for you. You gotta get up, get off your ass, and do it. I know I was a lazy one too. I used to stay in bed all day. Mañana. That shit don't work. A woman don't want a man that fucking don't do shit. Just laying there. I mean, sometimes it's the woman too. The girls go off, We learn from our grandfathers and fathers and our uncles. But la jodida, vamos a joder, la jodienda, vamos pa joder. They start like that and fucking hanging out and fucking teaching us shit. Back then we used to fucking be babies and they're smoking in the fucking car. We sit in the fucking car while they're smoking their cigarettes and shit like that. I mean, now you can't even smoke a cigarette nowhere without you fucking getting in trouble. Like, New York has fucked me up a lot of times. I mean, like, police come up to you and start fucking profiling of it, because I don't have nothing on me. They're trying to find something that ain't there. That police brutality shit, that shit's gone too far. Sometimes, I gave a brother a ride. I don't know, he had all that shit on him. Driving around with a fucking heat in his pocket and a bunch of dope and all that. I get pulled over for doing a favor, bro. I end up in jail. And then I'm from jail. It took a long time to fight that case, and I end up fucking losing, Joe. I end up going in because affiliation. I don't need no cold deeds or nothing. I'm by myself. I just want to say, I did the big mistakes. I want to try to help. If I help one person, don't get into these motherfucking gangs, bro. You're only gonna be a herb. They make you do shit. Me? First, even when I got to Rikers Island, that shit ain't a fucking prison. It's a fucking hotel. For me, that was a hotel. When they sent me upstate, it was different. It's all different game. You better look for somebody. You better know somebody. Because being by yourself is fucked up. You will be washing underwears in a second. Don't go around raping people just like that. Unless you fucking gearing it up. You gotta be stupid. It's a game. They're playing games. They're gonna test you. First thing you do, you better fucking pick your hands up and start. Just fucking sucker punch them. Do it. There ain't no fucking rules in there. You gotta do what you gotta do to get the fuck out of that fucking place. If you get out of there, don't go back in there. Look at me. Look at this. I'm old now. I was a young man when I first fucking got caught. And I'm like, I never got no problems with when I was in the Javelins and the Lower East Side and in the Bronx, and that gang shit faded away. We got into music. I got into DJing. I got into breakdancing. I got into graffiti. I did it all, bro. But what I don't like, these people, I invented this, I invented that, I was the first, this, that, a lot of people, it's true. The black spades, what they say is true. Their stories are true, but they ain't the only ones. I seen this guy, and I believe it. He says he was the first break dancer. He said, he looked Latino. He said, I'm black. I don't know. He might be black. He didn't look black. He looked Latino to me. He said he was the first break dancer, right? And he said there was no Puerto Ricans that was break dancer. I said, there was Puerto Ricans break dancer. I mean, like, all these New York City breakers and all these people, most of them was Puerto Ricans. Back spins, head spins, all that shit. And we had people that did up rock. People used to tap dance. They used to do all that shit, man. Back then we used to go and not to do that cardboard shit, man. These guys, they was like gymnastics. So maybe he was the first dancer, but he said he was the first break dancer. This guy came out in a video. I'm trying to remember his name. And he said, I told him, have you ever met Rubber Band? Have you ever met Boogaloo? Have you ever met, Willie and Marine Boy? Marine Boy was accused for being a pedophile. That was bullshit. You can't believe everything with people. That shit spread around like a motherfucker. It's like Africa Bambaataa, another one. They spread that shit around, but they said he was like fucking little kids or whatever. Bambaataa. This was the Black Spades News. Okay? With a lot of people that said Bambaataa this, Bambaataa that. I don't give a fuck because I don't, I gotta know. I'm not gonna believe anything till I know it's real. And the Bambaataa story could be more real, but we're living in a crazy world right now. I want you to take care. I want to thank everybody again for at least acknowledging that not all street gangs was bad. We used to take care of the neighborhood. And I want to give it out to the Tomahawks. They held it down. The Devil's Rebels, they held it down. So was the Savage Skulls and Savage Domans. It was almost like the same. I just never had a problem with them. Soulful sinners, young sinners. I'm trying to remember the other. It was the Satin Sinners. It was the Satin Sinners. Okay? Here's Cochise. Okay. Another thing, I think it was the Parks thing. Parks name. Yeah. I gotta get back with you with this one. So anyway, I'll let you go now. Till the next time. This is Coke 3. Saying so long, and peace and happiness, blessings to everybody.